trick. This guy has 3 nuts, by the way. Just learned he has 3 nuts. I asked if I could. Told him I want to see him. I think so, yeah. But I did literally hear yesterday that I know 3 people that all have left one. I probably went to surgery because he got smashed real bad and he came out of surgery and they're like, you only have one. And he's like, what? And they're like, we found a growth, so we just cut it out. But we haven't passed him on the dinner. And he was like, oh, that was weird. I honestly don't know. Hate flatheads, don't you?
What?
I hate flatheads.
Whoever invented them?
I mean, it was great back in the day if you had a wagon wheel and you're like, how do I turn this? A flathead would be a great invention. Yeah, the only thing I ever...
I throw it away. Forks are like
That's about all I use. If I get to choose. Hey, dumb, back it off.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do.
Usually, if you're having a hard time threading the screws, thread all of them with the legs setting up. Because you might have to get it up and you can usually thread it.
Yeah, it's because when they were drilling it,
how hard it is. You'd have to drill
Let me
this.
see. Where's our guy?
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's not ready. I just
Get it. A question or? Oh, I was hoping you were leaving and saying bye. Where's our guy? Yeah, that's what's on the front. Out front. If you have wood or something to bond metal. Only because a trailer's exterior, you could be in a snowstorm and have 20-degree metal and it could be 180 when it's in the sunshine. I'd be worried about all that. Metal, I would make sure you use the flex epoxy only. And I would really make sure I got a mechanical bottle to grind and sand the material. It would. I mean, I actually poured gasoline on the supercharged for. I did it every day for a few months in one spot, just to see if I could make it fail. And yeah, no problem. Thank you for being here. Make sure you flex epoxy. Any of you guys coming back? Any of you coming back to another class someday? Good. She wouldn't mind. She's like, if somebody else teaches, she'll be back. I have actually poured gasoline. Yes, sir.
We're doing on countertop every day.
Okay. Okay.
I can do a solid about 2.5 of MDF. I'm thinking about where the sink goes. Using 3/4 CDX, red guard it all.
You don't have to, just epoxy it. It's better. Any of you guys? Red guard's actually not nearly as good as epoxy. Any of you coming back to another class someday? I usually just let the sink that's in the floor. I usually will double stack everything, and then the sink area will just single stack where the header mounts. You're only 3/4 of an inch. So, and the reason why I would prefer to just, even if you pre-prime it with epoxy only, is epoxy penetrates the MDF and completely seals it, whereas red guard doesn't really penetrate. It just tries to bond the outside, so it's actually a lot less safe for long-term water damage. So, yeah, it'll work really well. And then just you could even take a gloved hand after you cut that cutout, smear it up underneath. But really take your time sanding that edge. That I'd say undermount sinks, people get really good at their front edges and stuff, and then they don't treat the undermount sink the same. But that's usually your customer's gonna walk right to that sink, and they're gonna feel that first You just watch your customer when you show it to them. They're gonna walk in and feel it, and you're like, that's the first spot. It has to be the best. So yeah. All the time. There's thousands of them in this town from our crews that did it. So yeah. And usually all I do too is, you know how the lip on the stainless kind of comes up there? I'll use a wide flat-headed screw and I'll screw it right next to it. I shoot silicone all the way around the rim. I'll take some quick grip clamps, clamp the sink up in there, get it into place, and then throw flat-headed screws around like 6 or 8 of them to just really press in on each corner in the center of the sink. I've never seen it done. Silicone's very flexible even with temperature restraints. This here. The Enviro wax is just a wax for countertops. If you're not using like the Diamond Shield or something like that to wipe on it, it's just for wax, for maintenance. It's a food safe wax.
What about, for example, right now
Yeah, it won't shine it like the same, but you'll get a really nice deep look. But to actually get your gloss back, you need to be at least 3,000 pounds of fat.
But start off from small.
Yeah, you gotta go through your steps. I mean, I'm usually 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. So, if you go to an automotive paint supply shop, they'll get you all the stuff for the whole process. It won't shine like the same. Right on. Hey, good to see you today. Sorry for that. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah.
I know you're busy.
Yeah. Go through your steps. I mean, I'm usually 5. That's cool. That's good looking. I like that. Did you go to an automotive paint supply shop? I like that more anyway. That's awesome. 16. Really? Don't ever sell that or you'll be stuck trying to do that. That's pretty cool though. That's nice. Awesome. Thank you, man. Thanks for showing that. Right? Well, thank you, man. Thanks for coming in. I'm actually really glad. Just trying to trip this down. Back and so safe and everything else. So good for it. We got that T-bar. We got that T-bar, Dom. Where's it at? You want to grab that leaf blower in there? Oh, you got it.
How much flex on that table?
The epoxy prior to a full cure, you could probably slowly bend it all the way in half.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Speed and temperature has a lot to do. I did not mean to hit you. It's a T-bar applicator right here. If you notice, it's almost like a phenolic roller, like a lint-free roller, but it's only a half sleeve, so it wraps around. It doesn't actually roll it slide. It's important, a lot of these, usually almost every one of them will come really tight, but it has a phenolic locking nut on there, so just back it off a little bit. Sometimes you even need to back it off far enough that you need to put a little Loctite on there so it doesn't fall off. And I've used a lot of these and they're all the same. So do be very careful if you buy T-bar, the heads. If you buy these heads from an average store, flooring store, just be really careful. I've bought these all over on jobs all over the US, and they almost always shed. We found a supplier that we buy tons from that they don't shed, but I've fucked up entire floors that cost me a ton of money, and the only reason we started supplying these is the failures we saw that people were having buying them. So, but it's kind of the most amazing tool you'll ever use once you start using it. If you notice, the edge is kind of pointed. I never pull trim. I never pull any of my baseboards in homes. When we always pour gently right up to them, and you can always run this real nice and careful right up against that edge without leaning over or brushing in most instances. If you have corners or heat registers on the floor, you might want to take a small chip brush and cut in. Otherwise, this works really well. So I usually will T-bar my floor a little bit before doing that. It works as a pretty badass buffer. So if you're pushing back and forth and you pull it back, and the thing with a roller, if you roll, a roller always leaves debris on the floor. It just rolls over it. If the debris doesn't stick to the roller, which will leave a stupid fucking mark every time. Has anyone ever had debris stick to a roller, a rock or something? So this is amazing. You always end up with all your debris right at your door. So it doesn't matter how many times you clean a building or clean a floor, you always have a few pieces of debris in that building. And the fact that you're running a figure-8 pattern across your whole floor and pull it out like this, it generally takes care of all that debris, and it'll pull it all to the exit of your job. Most of my jobs that I've been on, you usually are mixing a little more product than you'll use or need, and you want to keep that extra half gallon or whatnot. You run 2 or 3 layers of tape and drape, pull it out at the exit of your job with all that debris, pull this right onto your tape and drape. If that's not at your door because you have a tall threshold, put some tape and drape in the middle of your floor, tape it down, and then just pull the excess with any of the debris in it, and you can kind of separate the debris pile with your T-bar. Push all the debris onto there, wrap that up, throw it in the trash, and then push the rest of your material out and finish your job. So I've never seen cleaner floors than when you run a T-bar. So Dominic's gonna pop this 5-gallon pail. Your hardener comes inside in a cradle on top. A lot of customers say they got their resin without any hardener because they never took the lid off the bucket that has the pail in it. So the other type of kit, if we're shipping to you internationally, it's 3 single-gallon cans, so we ship legally in the air. So this here is legal for anywhere in the U.S. If you notice, it almost looks like pus. I'm trying to think of something nasty. Pus or horse cum, I have no idea. So that's air release in it. So You could have it really clear, but then it's not going to release air very well. Knowing that you're pouring over porous slabs a lot of times, I would let rather a lot of air release in here because we're pigmenting 90% of the time. We also have adjusted the amount of air release so that if you run a thin 80 per gallon to between 80 and 120, you can usually pull a clear coat and it's extremely clear. What you're walking on right now is this product pulled up per gallon on top of a layer that was pulled at about 40 square feet per gallon. So we did a decorative pull at about 40 square feet per gallon, came back the next day, and every single thing you see in here was done by class members. So always remember on jobs, your mixing is probably one of the most important jobs. Most guys don't like to mix, so they put their dumb ass on mixing. And here we don't do that. Tom, who's one of the smarter people, mix. So your mixing guy can just fuck your whole job. 2 classes now. We've had 2 classes on large projects where we had to re-pour sections because of bad ratios. So even my office floor in there. Was anybody here in that class where they mismixed that? Right. Oh, right. That's right. What's that? We'll mix it clear and then we'll switch into 2 pails. Yeah. So he's going to give you a minute mix. Normally, say we had 32 buckets, which would be a common project, and they're all going to be the same base color. We'd line these up, we would dump the hardener when he starts mixing. A lot of guys try to just, oh, I'm going to pre-dump my hardener in there. It is starting that chemical reaction and you're losing working time on your floor. You're always going to drill mix for 1 minute, then you're going to stick mix for 1 minute, then you're going to drill mix for 1 minute. So a single guy on a paddle can actually mix quite a few batches in a row because he'll leapfrog. He'll be drill mixing 1 bucket. When he switches to drill mix a 2nd bucket, the 1st bucket gets stick mix. Does that make? And when we say stick mixing, we're not mixing with a stick. You don't need to mix it with a stick. You need to scrape the edges and the bottom of that container. We're not going to switch these buckets. We're just going to keep bouncing to the next bucket. So then he can drop back into the 1st bucket with his drill and then stick mix the 2nd one. So you can really leapfrog pretty quickly. Your number 1 limiting factor in this job is how many people are mixing. So you can get mixers too, bucket mixers, and set them out and have 1 guy manage a mixing station. But just be thoughtful. When you do, say, 20,000 square feet, you're mixing 500 buckets of epoxy, right? And it's just fine to do that. But you might say, I actually think on 20,000 square feet, if I remember the math right, we're going to be mixing for about 9 hours, start to finish. So we just doubled our mixers. And then we knew that we could technically get it done in 4.5 hours, and we were right on target the last 4 we did like that. So. Hey Dom, you can pour into these now. And it's just fine to do all your mixing right at the exit of your floor if you're careful. If you start getting too much mixed A and B that are dripping off, you should be doing it on plastic so that as you get to that portion, you're not cleaning for 20 minutes, pull your plastic out, and you can pull right across that area. So I would always rather mix on the floor that's getting covered anyways than try to mix on their sidewalk, hoping you don't tear holes in your plastic. So on sidewalks, I throw an $8 sheet of OSB down first and just mix on that because at least you're not going to walk on it and tear holes in it. So that's enough. Did you eat today? That's good. Usually he just smokes for lunch, but black liquid pigment.
Oh, she said she wanted charcoal.
Oh, you want charcoal? That's fine. Yep. That charcoal will look better. That charcoal will look better. I just thought she said black, so I was trying to honor.
She did, but then I was like, do you want charcoal? Because I can't.
I was trying to honor her wishes. Anybody want to stick mix these? 2 little mixing sticks out of the classroom will work fine. And if that was a normal job site and somebody walked over my job site, I'd be pretty pissed off. I'd make sure they checked their shoes and made sure they were dust free. You can always take scraps of rug from a carpet store They'll throw away all their scraps or sell them to you really, really cheap. Throw those outside of the doors too, because they'll catch a lot of debris. You can pour alcohol in them, and it cleans your shoes as you come on and off the jobs. Anybody want to mix the copper ones? If you get an alcohol spray bottle too, you can spray a tiny bit of alcohol on top. It'll help wet this down and mix better. Oh, thank you, man.
And you can make some of these translucent powders.
Yeah, and these aren't translucent. These are just metallics. Mm-hmm. There you are. Where's your chair? It's right here. We had a lot of people jet. We had a lot of people jet already. You see how quickly that alcohol cut that dust out of the air? It just, as soon as it touches those particles, it'll drop it right in. Now he's gonna have to stop here in a minute once he gets all that powder mixed in, and he's gonna have to scrape the sides one more time where the powder was, because a lot of that powder is bonding to the sides of the container. Does that make sense? Because of the viscosity and the air release, he can mix this as fast as he wants to without getting air in it, because the air will come right back out.
I actually cut mine right there.
Yeah, that.
Anyway,
That's it. I always choose to use a plastic mixing paddle because you're not scraping the sides of your bucket. If you use a metal mixing paddle, it's very common to scrape the side of your bucket and it'll peel little curly cues off the side of the bucket. You get all these little curled up pieces of plastic. I messed up a whole floor like that. I could not figure out what was going on until we were almost done with it. We had to actually sand the whole floor and do a clear coat on it. Now it looked amazing with just a thin clear, but I could not believe it was all tiny little pieces of scraped, curled up bucket, all from a metal mixer. And you really didn't see it till you started spraying alcohol and stuff just wasn't settling. And I started picking out pieces, and pretty soon I realized I was gonna pick out a million pieces. Also, you don't wanna clean these because you're never gonna fully clean them. If you wanted to clean this right now, I'd dip it in xylene or acetone and mix it in that pail or whatever you have that in immediately. If you wait for this to cure and then you start trying to break the pieces off, you're gonna break 90% off of them, and 10%'s enough you're gonna ruin something. With a whole class, we had to redo a whole wall that I started troweling because I used a partially cleaned mixing paddle, and little pieces started breaking off and breaking up into chunks, and every time I troweled, it was pulling drag marks like a cat was scratching it. Yes, sir. You're leaving? Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here, really, very much.
Thank you.
You got a good son. Illegitimate, but pay your child support. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. Have a good day. Yes. That kid was really nice. Can't believe that guy doesn't pay child support. He probably really hasn't, and now he's like, fuck, how does he know that? How does he know this was my kid? I've never told the kid.
Be a good discussion.
Yeah, they're gonna be.
What did he mean by that?
Now that I know you're my dad, can I have a hug? That's all I reach it.
So I got a question, Leland.
Yes, sir.
Watch some videos online, people doing floors, they're walking.
You're perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you can bring the spikes out, Dom, just since to answer his question. Dom, we'll bring the shoes out.
They don't leave footprints around.
Yeah, I'll show you. We'll just do it in here. FUD. Yeah,
Probably not the first one.
I'll clean them. They're just new enough, but I'll probably try to clean them. Good thing they're work boots. Now they're composite reinforced toes, so they're safety boots. Probably not OSHA approved, but I've never met somebody who have as many shoes as me ever. No girl, no guy, nothing. Nobody has more shoes than I have. I have a walk-in closet about from that side of the plastic to this side and all the way back, and it's. Now I have a lot of clothes, but too. Pants, 300 pairs, probably 150 pairs of pants, and 150 of them all have epoxy just. But I'm like, they're a pretty good pair of pants. I hate to throw them out, and I also hate to be non-presentable. I can't stand, like, I did construction, and you'd see painters show up to bid, and they just look like a homeless guy that should be shot for safety reasons, and they'd be bidding, and they're like, well, I'm a painter. And I'm like, well, why don't you just put something professional on and maybe you won't be struggling with your life. But it'd be cheaper to throw a pair of pants away every once in a while than, yeah, you're good. Mrs. Copper. Nah, you're good. Yeah. I'm gonna judge whoever that was, except I have really bad hearing, so I didn't see where that was coming from. Ha! I believe that. Same thing. Well, now on any normal floor, we'd just be out here if we do something like this on spikes. You do have to be kind of thoughtful now if you're pulling with a T-bar. You'll have a very easy tendency to overmix your product. Does that make sense? Because you're actually spreading and having to apply coverage to every square foot of the floor, every square inch or whatever. So you can, yeah, and you're pushing it, so you can really overmix your colors. So you have to be kind of thoughtful as to how you pour your colors out and then how you spread it. Because if I just worked my way all the way down and overworked it, I'd just have a gray blah floor, if that makes sense, with all the colors mixed together. So being a little slow and methodical is very helpful. I generally always work my edges first because that's where all your time is spent getting stuff right or where you mess something up. So hear him whining. You needed math practice, Ethan, that's why. Never met a guy that could do that, did you? Need longer? Make sure it's screwed on all the way. Now, if you pull this a little faster, you're obviously not going to get the coverage that's going to go right over the epoxy. The epoxy is very dense, just like water, so if you go too fast, you'll essentially skip off the top of it and not really get the coverage you were trying to get. Does that make sense? So that's just good to know, because you might want to actually purposely leave some product on the floor, or you might want to pull it a little further, and all you need to do is slow down if you're trying to pull it further. Almost overkill, but not. Best. This is really good for spraying weeds or people that smoke weed. I'd have to spray all of you probably. Did anybody not make it to Palisade? We used to only have a pot shop in this town called DeBeck, and I can't count how many people were like, hey, how far is DeBeck? DeBeck's the fucking ugliest town around. So I'm like, I know you're not driving there for the scenery. Now they just have to go to Palisade, so they pretend they're drinking wine. What's that? Yeah, I don't think so. No, that's probably not how you do that. But I'm not gonna pick that up because I don't want my hands dirtier. It was a little clump of powder. Thank you, man. Now, you have some choices to make. You can either spray your accent colors or mix your accent colors as we did. I think it looks a little better mixed and poured than sprayed, but it's just a different look, so I'll kind of show you both. Very easy to make sprayed accents look really fake. If you spray these accents on top of a liquid pigment, the liquid pigment's gonna swallow it all. If you're using liquid pigments as base, usually the best way to do it is pour an entire base of one color, then come back in the next day, run a thin clear, and spray your accents on top of the clear. You can go overboard really quickly with that because you can't hide any of it. When you're spraying into a clear, it's all setting on top of what that base color is, so just be thoughtful of that. Do you see the total difference? We'll go overboard a little bit too, so since that's what we do here. And we still have our T-bar applicator, so we can come back on this and brush some of these colors in if we want to. Do you notice how when you shoot a speckle, how much different it is than when you actually spray a mist? If you are spraying accents, make sure you spray all the way to your wall. It'd be better to mask your wall on the baseboard, keep the masking up off the baseboards, because if your tape is touching the epoxy, like people will mask all the way to their floor, if you ever do that, you're really screwed trying to pull that off because you're gonna have a blue line or a green line around your whole perimeter. You're never getting it out of the epoxy. So I would usually mask with a masking gun, you know, an inch up the wall or higher, and then you can spray. If that was a wall right there, what you see people do all the time is they'll try to spray right up to your wall, and all the way around the job you can tell they were trying not to spray it on the wall, and you have this kind of halo around the whole entire floor. It'd be better to mask that wall and spray it heavy right up to it so it looks more like a continuous pattern. If you want to have a cheap, easy way to mask it an inch up, just cut yourself a 3/4 or an inch block of wood like plywood or MDF, something that you can slide along the floor, and you can actually just slide it with your with a tape gun or whatever to space your tape gun up off the floor so you're not trying to guess and be wiggling all over the place. Any questions? Now, let's say we went a little bit overboard on this, because your name's Levi and that's just what you do. It's usually how I mess things up. Look at how it moves with the alcohol on it. This is only if your customer came in and was like, ooh, I was hoping it was more subdued. And you're like, of course, that's what I was gonna do. I say, woman, don't bug me halfway through my process. And then I'm like, thank God she told me, because I was not gonna do that. I had a worker one time, he's like, oh fuck, look at this over here. And it was some chip on the countertop, and I'm like, you fucking retard, like, the customer's sitting right here. And the customer was like, oh my God, it turned into a big pain. So after that, we always were like, oh, this is awesome. This is a really good looking spot. And I'd be like, where is it? What do we do? And then we put tape over it until we had all the stuff to fix it. All right. Take some clear alcohol in that bottle and just speckle the whole entire floor, Dom. Rhonda Kelly. You're not going home tonight? Sleeping in your car? Where are you from again? Oh shit, yeah. Is there bad weather between there? I am so happy because I have another bike that's not here that has a track on it for the snow. Sunday morning, I am riding that, and if we get a snowstorm, it'll be that much more amazing. She says it's not here.
Grand Mesa will get that.
Grand Mesa better. Well, I'm not riding it in town. We're not riding on the canals.
We're talking between it.
Right. Yeah, that's probably better to leave early in the morning. You're good, Dominic. No, you're fine. I just see a lot of little air bubbles I still need to take care of that weren't really popping. Never, especially not now, unless you want to buy the customer a new house and dogs and truck and baby. Correct, always alcohol on floors. I'm sorry I didn't cover that. Any other questions, guys?
Wait till you take off the tape.
Just like 2-3 hours, usually. You could probably wait 5 hours if you had to, and it'll still come right out. What? What's that? I can pull it back onto itself or whatever, don't worry. If you're not here. Otherwise, we can just pull it before you leave, even if it's... Uh-huh. It does not lay itself level like this. Super tracks I usually don't go over until we're in an advanced class or a super tracks class, just because there is quite a few little nuances with it. Super tracks is a coating that you apply the epoxy down and then you broadcast your aggregate, which is a colored quartz. Sand is very clear, and it's not color fast. So super tracks is very color fast, meaning it'll never fade with UV. So unlike stamped concrete, where you move a rug and you see what it was supposed to be, super tracks, if you pressure wash it 10 years later, it should be exactly the same. If you need to add on, you can make exactly the same based on your color mix. Super tracks, you do thinner coats of epoxy, and however level you have that before you broadcast is how smooth your final coat will be, if that makes sense. If you left a coating down this thick and started broadcasting sand on top, it'd push that coating and it would it absorbs up into it really uneven like a wave. So doing thinner coats that are just really smooth, that's everything for Super Trex. So be really thoughtful when you're doing that, and less is more. If you say you have a divot, something I've seen a lot of guys will have like a pit in the concrete. It's real easy to miss that stuff with gray concrete. So they'll just roll the epoxy straight across the top, and they broadcast their sand, and where that low spot is that filled up with epoxy turns into a big pile because it absorbed up into a bunch of sand. And you actually broadcast to rejection, meaning you throw sand down until you're not absorbing any more epoxy up into the sand. If you see a wet spot, throw sand on it every single time. So if you see that wet spot and you don't throw sand on it the next day, you need to do it till your whole coating is all dry across the top. Usually if you're throwing 10 buckets down, you're gonna vacuum 5 of them back up and reuse them the next day. If you don't do that and you do not throw enough sand, and the sand is cheap, we make, just so you know, we make $1 per bucket on our sand. And we have a very color fast quartz that we buy, very color fast. Most of the stuff you can ever find with it will always fade because it's actually a epoxy and a urethane coat on the actual sand particle. So, and most of it's just colored. Most people just color their quartz, so you gotta be very careful. So we buy the best, and we buy it way cheaper than you guys can buy it, and we make $1 off of it. I want people to always buy the right stuff and buy enough of it, because it's like 30 bucks a bucket, and I've seen people save $30 and fuck up a $10,000 job because they didn't have enough product, and then they have patches all over the next day.
Somebody asked me as far as, I told him I didn't represent, but he said, would that Super Trex stuff be good in the kitchen? Because then it's non-sticky.
We've actually done it. You just want to scrape it before you urethane it, roll a urethane coat, sand any little high spots, urethane it again, and you have really good traction, and it's extremely chemical resistant. So gasoline, pressure washers, anything.
So yeah, you pressure wash it. It's easy.
Yeah, and I mean, you can drop brake fluid. Nobody's impressed by brake fluid, but brake fluid eats paint right off a car. And I poured a whole bottle and just let it set one time per month. And poured gasoline every day for a few months, and no failures at all. We pressure washed everything. We had to actually wash it with detergent because there was so much goo stuck in it. And once we got it all off, it was perfectly new, like brand new. We let people take hammers to it too. But I don't have my old shop across the street that we still have, you can smash that up, but this place I don't want to smash the front steps, so. All right, guys. Anything else we need to cover, you guys think? We did everything we need to, right? Okay. No. Can we sign out? Yes. No, you're good. What's up?
So when you go take the tape up,
Like your hat, by the way.
thank you, appreciate it. You want it to be a little bit tacky, but just like paint. And when you fill
Yeah,
it up,
exactly. And I mean, it's just gonna flow. You can see on here they pulled it early one time. I think we basically poured it like that, and we waited 40 minutes and just pulled it, and so it dripped over a little bit. I have waited till the next day even and slid a putty knife right up underneath and broke it on the. That's a bit of a pain, and I wouldn't trust that as a long-term solution to anything. Yeah. Yeah, and now this is also very thick what I just did. That's a pretty thick coating. If you're just trying to get like a gray color down and it's nice and thin, you could pull it right away because it's so thin it's not flowing on you. I would wait till the alcohol evaporates because the alcohol will make it flow even though it shouldn't have been flowing still. So. Stick that leg. Did we flip it over yet? So we gotta still flip it upside down. I'll try to start if you want to. Do you want to try? See. I'm totally good to try to flip it if you guys want to, but we need a couple bodies to flip it upside down and then. Anybody want to help flip the one on the back real quick and we can see how quick we can get a plan to bond it? Did Papa Smurf leave? Yeah, we'll do it. Just a little bit and then I gotta go. Well, I'll be here, but I'll be working.
Okay.
What's up?
We'll just like talk, but
Oh, yeah.
come in tomorrow.
Yeah, we can figure out a time, today or tomorrow. Yeah, we'll find it. We'll figure it out.
I got an appointment at 5.
Oh, right on. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Have a good day today,
Thank you.
sir. Yeah.
I'll
Thank
see
you,
you again on Monday.
man. Be around. So you're coming back? Awesome. Thank you. I don't know if we have enough people to flip it. I don't really care one way or the other. Is there anybody that wants to help flip that table? Big Tom. That poor little boy could get hurt really bad. I like him a lot. I'm a big fan of him. He has honesty, integrity, and attitude. It's so priceless because you can't you can't teach somebody to have a good attitude or to be honest or to work hard. So, yeah, we'll put it there. So to me, having somebody like him that wants to work hard is just priceless. So I guess we'll. Yeah, we probably should temporarily. You know what? If you can walk, if you come out that way, walk down here and you sit right here. Be safe. Are you getting up there?
Oh, I was going to when I needed to film. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Busy.
If you need help, please don't fall. Don't want to. You're already how old? Don't want to have an abortion on a 23-year-old. And you're too pretty to throw in the dumpster. But if you fall, we're throwing you in the dumpster. Let's slide it this way a little bit. And now I don't want to wrench on this too much, just on this L. So I'm gonna start.
Get over there too?
Yeah, I think we need somebody here, like in the middle of the piece. Let's slide it my way a little. Yeah, there you are. Perfect. Yep. Don't cut yourself, guys. Try to kick that base in our way. Now we'll tip it up a little higher. Go around, guys, if you're good. Slide down just a little bit. You push it towards me if you want. Yep. Yep, push it towards me. Watch out, base, so it doesn't kick out at you. Yep, you're good.
Base. Perfect.
He's good.
Sweet.
Fucking amazing, guys. That's even pretty as shit. And it's ugly and not finished, and it's beautiful. We just want to make sure that we're not accidentally shimming this up on with anything at all. So, we got that leaf blower, Dom, the little one? Here it is. Got it. Now, piece right over.
Okay.
Huh?
Not sure what's holding.
Sitting on the silicone, probably. Yeah, a bunch of silicone under there.
Got a scraper or
We'll
something.
just slide it over. And you know what, too, Dom? The fridge could be very well, like, bowed down. I think it is, actually.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Pick it up again one time.
Green tape. Maybe. Nope.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
No. You know what? We have. Oh, yeah, you're good. Yeah, now we'll need to flip that around. Oh yeah. Yep. Have the wood not matching after all that work. Hey. Thank you, ma'am. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time here.
Oh.
Thank you, ma'am. I really appreciate it. These were quiet, but you were also very nice, so thank you for who you were. You come back in. You can be way noisier next time. We appreciate you guys. Now let's just make sure we leaf blow the crap off of it. Especially that gap.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good, man.
A lot, but
Nope, that's good. Now we're gonna tip it up, nice and careful, just to kind of test it and see what it's looking like on that 90.
that base.
No, you're good actually, I think. So We're gonna put a piece of aluminum across this, a big piece of flat bar. This way, I'm gonna use clamps off of this, and I'm gonna actually clamp this piece on. Okay, you're good, man. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think you're good. Now we'll just foil tape under it. We'd set it back down and slide it apart a little. And now we'll run foil tape under it. If I Can I give you the end of this? And run a bit of excess off the edge, like farther. And we'll be doing the upper. Whoops, sorry. And now we're actually gonna do this. We're gonna try to slide it under it. If one of us slide, yep, perfect. Can you pass me those scissors real quick? Sorry. Please, thank you so much. And if you stick on that end, we'll each stick our ends like this.
Straight up.
Yeah. Stretch it a little bit. Yep. And now stick it. That's perfect. And that's temporary. We'll put it back down a little bit in a second. So now, excess. We can always leave a little excess off. Need a manicure. You got it. You must have a better manicure than I do. Or pedicure, whatever the fingernail one is. Manicure. Pedicure. If you catch a pedo, you just kill him, so. What's that? Yeah, if one side. Hold on here, Dom. Have somebody. Ah. Oh yeah, sorry. And hold on, because I'm gonna lift it a little bit first. So I'm just gonna kick this up a little bit, like so. And we're gonna try to slide it underneath there if we can. Perfect, perfect. That's it, thank you. They're not say Dom and egg. Yeah, yeah. Now let's grab a putty knife. What's that? Black one, yeah, black plastic one. Awesome. I don't need a knife. Yeah. What am I buying? This guy hasn't convinced me yet to buy anything. He's not a very good salesman.
Just gotta play the problem. Solve it.
Yeah. I'll give it to you, Dom. Try to slide it without bunching that tape up at all. Yeah, that's what this would be. Uh-huh. Yes, sir. It's not easy though, just to, as you'll see shortly. Hold on. There you are. Now we'll want to be lined up really well back and forth, so pick it up a little. There you are. Yep. Oh, no. Yeah. Now we want to pivot this really clean right on that knife edge right there. And now we'll take that putty knife and we'll fold that up and really. Can I get a, can you hold this for me? Still off in the center. Yeah, the center actually. So here, I'm gonna let this drop a bit. Now, if you guys on the ends just hold it up, we're good. And then we can set this up there. I wish everybody was that easy to get along with. This class was amazing because they're not a bunch of stupid fucking artists. Is exactly what we have. After I got in trouble for saying most artists were fucking retards and they went and wrote the complaint about me. I'm gonna actually, yeah. I mean, it works. Because this side, hey Dom, I got a strap. Yeah, yellow one of the long yellow ones. You know what? Hold on. I got it. Okay, sorry. Something. I'm an idiot. Don't worry about it, Dom. I just thought of a different way. Basically, we're just trying to make this not move, so. And that's it. So. I know what Dave Chappelle would call me right now. That's so weird. Dave Chappelle, I've seen his last shows. He's amazing. Like, he has to be the most Republican comedian I've ever seen, or conservative. Hopefully not a Republican or a Democrat, but just like actually conservative, like pro-gun. And you're like, cool. And then, do you know he's a Muslim? Yeah. Just surprised me. Still. I just think he's probably my favorite comedian right now. I've never seen a better, funnier dude than him. Fuck. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'll do this till I have what it takes to not keep moving. We will get this. Fuck it up, one or the other though, for sure. Yeah, we're not gonna passively walk away today. Oh, that's tight, that's amazing. Look at that. Look at that inside gap right there.
Here on this side, I think.
No, it is. That's why we have the bar. So now grab shims.
You just got it, or do you
Either one. It don't really matter. Really, Levy? Now, if you guys want to hammer them between the metal, between the flat bar and the top, you know what? Pop one in right here, just snug, dude. Nothing crazy. Just make it snug. Look at just the underneath the ugly side. The freaking ugly side's awesome. Sarah gets the shit. No, she's an awesome. I think the tinting.
Probably the wood ones then, because this one just snaps as soon as you start tapping it.
You know what? If it's too tight, don't sweat it. You know what? If you can't get it in, don't do it. No, you don't want to just randomly put it, Dom, because we already have it adjusted. You know what? Don't worry about it at all. Now the countertop epoxy up. Like 4 to 8 ounces or 8 ounces or something. No, probably 2 or 3. So I'm guessing Monday we'll try to flip this. Well, I was saying that I don't know that we have enough people to flip this up, but probably whenever I have the help I need. So this is not gonna be. Like, we're putting a crane back in overhead here in like 2 months. Yeah, it'll go between these beams. Yeah, Matt was like, "Should we put the crane back in?" I was like, "Yes." I guess that's an option. Yes, put it in there right now. All right, if you want to water tech that in, and just kind of fold it like a Christmas present, thinking that resin's gonna be poured in like a cup.
Start off right here.
Yeah. And then I'm going to attempt maybe I'm not gonna do anything. This is I just want this to be real watertight, basically. And it is on melamine, guys, so just remember this. If some starts pouring, it doesn't really bother us. We don't really care that some's gonna, we know some, my tongue, anyway. We know some's gonna go through and get through the tape and go onto the table, but we don't care because that's melamine. It's not gonna bond to it. There's mold release on it. And we can always reprofile and sand anything off that's excess, but we'll be fine. Now, I think you guys are gonna hate me. I personally think we should pop both these clamps, barely tip it back, pour that along there, clamp it, set it in. So, but at least now we know it fits. So. Doing pretty gangster. We'll have to before we let the epoxy set with a, and I'll just use probably a speed square or something. So. Yeah. Now, if it was off 4 degrees, it's merely a leg. If it's not noticeable, you'd never know. But I still think just for, you might be like 10 degrees off and realize it and put it on the floor. Yeah. I'm gonna try just mounting to the wall there and here, and since the wood's in there, I think I could ban it. I don't think I'm gonna do anything. Okay. If I had to, honestly, I think I'd dado right in the middle of this wood and go right to the end where it's not visible and pour epoxy in there and drop a rod. Have you ever seen where they rod granite like that in front of a sink? You'll back cut with a wide blade, like a 1/4 inch blade. And then I used to put carbon fiber rodding in the front of all my sinks on granite, so. Yeah, leave it vertical and it really helps a lot, so.
I've seen you do that where you do 2 slabs of table.
Right,
Round it out 2 beams, recess,
right.
steel bar rate,
Same exact thing, yeah.
stiffen it up,
And it makes a huge difference too, so.
and then make the legs to that.
Right.
Way not having to make holes in the resin.
That's the hopeful thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Marion? It's hard to ready when you say. I'm gonna polish this side, and I'm probably gonna try polish on the top, and as long as that's the look we all like, I'll just leave the top polished. We're actually gonna let that too, so if you guys are impatient, I understand if you guys need to leave, but I'm probably gonna let that get 100, 105, 110 degrees before we do it, because then it's gonna cool off when we pour it in there. You're not gonna have a ton of work time. So also letting it get 105, 110, a lot of the air is gonna come right out of that. So. Yeah, it working time, and I want less working time because I want less time of that dripping through work to stack up in the crack. I'm actually shocked at how many pretty intelligent guys are in here, and you shouldn't wear a hat because you have. I fucking see that, and I like that. I'm like, you should just. I'd give me the opposite of a mohawk. It just cuts the middle and down the sides. So if you ever decide to shave yours, give it to me. I'll give it to you. Yes. A little girl told me I need to grow my hair out so I can be like Max's hair. She's like, you need to have hair like Max has on top of his head, and then shave your beard and put it on his face. I'm like. But I actually have a beard because my oldest, she won't cut her hair if I don't cut my beard, so we have a deal. And in July and August, it fucking sucks. Especially when you have your face is in a helmet and you don't realize how much just sucks airflow, and you just get so hot and sweaty. So, but the little girl's happy, so it doesn't really matter. So.
Do any of your little nuggets have ready? Like little
Not even
strands here?
one.
Not even a bit.
Not even a bit. These are strong.
They got some solid jeans in them.
Build that wall just for the jeans. I'm kidding. They're all so pretty, it doesn't matter. You wouldn't guess it, but my kids are actually really good looking.
Beautiful table. Yeah.
Their real dad's probably really hot. I said their real dad's probably really hot. So. And date him or something.
The Mexican version.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is
I think you could be albino, and if you had a kid with a Mexican, it's gonna be a Mexican. There isn't. I'm trying to teach my kids. You're also Irish, just so you know. So. I always say they punch holes in walls, but they can patch them real well. Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. Actually, Max is like me. He's more relaxed than I am, I think. You know what? Let's see the torch. I'm not gonna fucking wait here all day. Let's just grab another container too. We got another quart container. I know I have 100 of them somewhere here. Hey Dom, I'm just gonna torch it into the other container.
These are like 90. This one's not sure what happened to it, but it got all fucked up.
Did it really?
Yeah.
It's because people epoxy in there. It's like 109, 104. Maybe replace the batteries and see. Clean the lasers too. You know, I'd probably clean the reflector in there. There's a lot of mica in there. It has to catch the reflection of that laser like a rangefinder does.
Doesn't matter.
Because I'm just pouring. I'm not gonna mix it in here. You should do this on jobs if you need to. This is also on a lot of air. What's your fist say? Downbeat? Oh, right on. That's like two things. I've always wanted to play guitar or drums. I do think I'm going to start guitar lessons this winter. My dad used to play a 12-string Ibanez real well. He even did background music for some, like, it's pretty boring music, but all like Christian stuff or whatever. But I used to love hearing him play. He'd play like the House of the Rising Sun, and he could play it so good on that 12-string. A lot of songs like that. That was one I knew. So. Bagpipes are fun to hear. A real good bagpipe player is amazing to hear. You fucked it up, but your back is probably worse. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I am so sorry. What's that? Yeah, I'll let you and me will work on the sides, and then we'll let you pour the metal if you want to. Basically, we're gonna just try to cant this back a little bit. We just barely pop it loose. Victor's here to please the ladies, whatever angle you need. So, you want to rock it back a little? Right in the crack. Just like Victor started the nasty talk, and we're going to finish it. Yeah. No, you're good, you're good.
I didn't have it released as much as you did.
Pour it all the way down first. All the way down.
Okay, got it.
You're not filling it up. You're just putting enough in there for us to squish it through. You can even tip it out more if you want to tip it back more.
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to be conservative.
No, I'd like to be just because I don't want to tear the tape, but I also, that's partially why I put this, because this will stretch before it tears.
They were saying that you had that. They were saying you had that manufactured for you.
Well, we actually, the guys next door actually gave it to us,
Oh,
but we were trying to get it manufactured.
You just hit the top, which I did that too, so.
Pour a bunch in there. Pour a bunch in there so it goes down there. And then just give it right back to her and she'll pour it all the way down real quick. One little line. You know what? Fuck it. No. Let's just put it back together.
okay.
Yeah, it's pulling out.
That's good. It'll squish out crazy.
Back down.
Yep. Just make sure we don't over angle, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I didn't.
Want me to get a rag in?
As long do you feel like it's pretty? Yeah, you're good then. Yeah, you can clamp them right down. No, you're totally right to do that. Let me. Hey Dom, we got a level in back. Oh yeah, back here in the corner. No, I got one right here, Dom. I checked my Stabila. It's so far off, it's ridiculous. It's like trash now.
How's this one?
I'm gonna check that next, but I'm gonna see how far out this is. Not. I mean, it's out of 16th. That's not. I almost think it's not worth messing with. I vote on just leaving it because it's so close. I think all we can do is fuck up that joint. Nope. I'd like to take that putty knife and wipe it, or this shim right here, and we'll just wipe it all the way down. Yep. And now what we could do is we could take that piece we cut out and we could reverse set it ever, you know what I mean? For added strength in there. You know why, hey guys, you know why that won't work? You know why that won't work? The wood's too high. The wood goes up. You know what I could do though? Since we're full of ideas, I could cut a couple pretty little blocks out of that shit on the chop saw and put a block and a block and a block and a block.
Just on either side.
Yeah. And I think you guys will be shocked how strong that is if it doesn't break. You'll be shocked how strong it is if it doesn't break. Oh, right. Thank you, sir. Oh, can't wait. As soon as everybody's gone, we will. And tonight, we'll just bake the place as much as we can. Thank you, Dom, for thinking about that shit. Dom, you're getting pretty good at this. Don't get a big head. Don't get a big head. But you really are. You're getting way better at what you do. We can make some shit with this. Watch your hands. These are little razor blades. Always the most professional cleaning services you've ever seen. Titty. Hey Dominic. We got that cup of epoxy anywhere?
Right behind.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll pass this to you as soon as if it ever drips out.
Is there enough room right now between that and the clamp? Put one of these?
The other side of the clamps, move it. Does it need to be put up flush?
No, I'll probably leave mine in from the end a little. Butt up, huh? Butt up flush.
Looks so dirty, like it's dirty on the other side just for me.
Here you are. You can have that. You're good, Dom. Who would have thought that anyone would ever say that ever about a kid that was like so fucking stoked when he got like a D because it meant he didn't have to go back in that class? I remember a report card where there was not a single C. Not one. It was like F, 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 D, F, D. I was like, eh, 2 classes I don't have to do again. So. My dad was like permanently disappointed.
I was in special ed.
Oh yeah. I just saw the best meme I've ever seen the other day. It says my kid's teacher said I should put my kids in special ed, and then he says I'm kind of embarrassed because I've been doing all their homework. I was like, that sounds like if I did my kids' homework. Have you seen the new math and shit? Like Common Core?
That's Common Core.
I'm like looking at it and I'm like, wow, I was kind of trying to keep an open mind. This is fucking stupid. Like, at the end of the day, they know 19 different ways to solve a problem and they don't know how to divide.
Right.
And I'm like, how the fuck? Because I was like,
Did away with it in some districts.
I'm actually really good at math with
schools are.
terrible grades. Our school finally just did away with
Well,
it
you know,
now.
it was a product of Bill Gates. Like that's where that came from. He wanted to, him and Obama. They wanted to.
Fucking
experiment on-
Obama.
Experiment on our kids.
Obama phones and Common Core.
Yeah.
To the liberal Jew. He balances me. In a very straight way.
Got you this.
He's a badass. Anybody that doesn't like Victor, if you know Victor, I don't like that person probably. He also manages a TV station right by here for all our news.
Nice.
I wanted to do whenever your TV station posts on Facebook, I always want to do some kind of shout out or a weird meme to Victor just to fuck with you. But I'm like, I wonder if they really like both departments work together. Or they'll be like, Victor, that other guy is an asshole. We hate him.
I know.
Really?
Yeah, I watched so many videos and I've never heard you curse. And I watched one of the classes.
What video? So you watched a lot of videos, but never one of me.
Well, no, but
Never-
like,
never
on
one
the
of 'em.
YouTube ones you don't curse too much. But then,
Right.
But then I saw one of the class and you blowing off F-bombs and I was like, oh, we're gonna be right at
That's
I
awesome.
was so much happier.
I know every once in a while somebody will bring a kid and they'll be like, oh, we're bringing our 9-year-old daughter, and we're like, no, that can't ever. That's not.
No.
I don't want a chop saw near him. I don't want like flames and torch. Don't want me near him. I love children, but don't know that the average parent would want me around their kid.
First day that I went back to the hotel, I told them, they were like, really?
This,
I was like, yeah. He was like, you fit right in there, Dad. I said, "Yo."
you guys can't judge me, but here, you want to hear something? We had a customer I really hated, so.
Uh-oh.
It's my favorite thing. She says, Crystal, I'm gonna kick you in your lady nuts, capiche? My little girl. She's my little girl. All right, guys. I think that's badass. You guys are amazing, and thank you so much for your help. What's that? That's. I've never seen it ever a desk like this. Have you guys anywhere ever?
It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna have to post it.
Yeah.
There'll be a video on it. Yeah, keep your
Yeah,
eye
that
out.
and the, because
Yep, there'll be a video on it.
Oh, we gotta redo it. This cut's all crooked. I'm kidding.
they put the wrong side.
Well, same with what? I just didn't really think of that until my buddy came over and said they're throwing a bunch of that away, and I was like, I think we're gonna do the boardroom table different. Just chop up pieces. I know. I do that a lot, but a lot of my things turn out really stupid, and that's why it's have faith that it's gonna work. So, thank you guys so much for today. I have a ton of work to do still, and I couldn't have even done all this without the class, so it's amazing. And this class actually put together some really amazing things and pieces, so thank you, Victor. The guy behind the camera is Victor, and he's a badass, and He's actually really tall too. So, sorry. I hope you guys tune back in and watch another live someday. So we're doing a 2-day class next week, sample lab, where we just go over all the different colors. Ship home a bunch of samples. If any of you want to make it out to that class, you can. Yeah, don't make out in the class, please. So make it out to the class. Have a badass weekend, and I'm gonna go back to work. Good day.